Welcome to the MPK podcast. So let's lay a few ground rules because I'm in a particular state right now. It's January 2025 and I just don't give a fuck. Okay? Here's the deal. And it's not just me. I know that other people feel this way, and that's why we're going to talk about it. What you can expect from this podcast is honesty, authenticity, vulnerability, and also a little bit of critique. Like I heard this, I'm listening to this book called Feminism is for Everybody. And I'm looking at the author really quickly. Bell Hooks. Come on. She calls herself a cultural critic. And I just really love that. I was like, yes, I feel that. So we're taking a little bit of that and we are defining what words mean, like patriarchy or relationships or cultural norms, parenting, success, entrepreneur, like literally anything that a human experiences, it's on the table for this podcast. And my hope if you can sift through all the sarcasm and ridiculous stories, my hope and goal is that we are going to wake up and become aware of ourselves and what's going on around us and the people around us. Okay. But not just be awake and aware of it. We're going to learn how to attune to these things ourselves first, and then others, and then our communities in the world, in an effort to create emotional and psychological safety for, again, ourselves, the people around us, then our communities and the world. Okay, so from my lens, my background is in early childhood development and education. So I'm bringing that piece. And then I have a bachelor's in psychology. So just a little bit about me. Everything that I experience in the world comes through this lens of highly sensitive soul. I have a good bit of ADHD. I am recovering from PTSD, from codependency, from religion, like lots of things. But the baseline undertone of everything I think about and consider and everything that matters to me in the world has to do with humans. I find humans fascinating, also super annoying, and don't always want to be around us, sometimes myself included. But overall, I'm always tinkering in my brain and my psyche about what makes humans do the things that we do. So that's what this discussion is. That's what we're doing here. And I hope that you will spread this podcast, because that's only going to spread this awareness and education and resources. Here's the scoop. I'm an executive mindfulness coach. So that's what I do during the day. And I absolutely love working with people. I work with executives and I work with teens and I work with everything in between. I absolutely love my clients. I love hearing their stories. I love digging in and getting honest about what we're all really experiencing, and then bringing the emotional intelligence development and the life skills to help us continue to navigate with any semblance of, is that the right word? Semblance? I think I just made that up. Any tone of joy and authenticity. And like, yes, I'm excited to wake up and be in the relationships I'm in and go do the work that I am doing today. Um, that doesn't just happen with age. We don't just like grow into these adults that all of a sudden really enjoy life and know how to anchor and ground in presence and remember who we are through every stage of life. Yeah, that doesn't come with age. That doesn't happen with time. That is something that absolutely needs to be intentionally constructed, and what that requires. And this is what we'll dig into. So I'm going to bring all these cultural critiques, which is basically my my shticks, the things that really get me chapped and whipped in this world, and then we're going to dissect them down into the usually missing life skills or emotional intelligence aspect, and then we're going to build back up to learn from all the things that I'm experiencing is what I'll share, and I'd love to hear from you. I absolutely love hearing your perspective, your stories, even topics and things that you want to bring to the table here and discuss. Please reach out. So I'm committing to showing up and running my fucking mouth. And I would love for you to commit to engaging and sharing this podcast. So come with an open mind, come with honest mindset and heart towards yourself and towards the topic and whatever. I do not require or expect or even want agreement, by the way. That to me, compliance is a scary, scary thing. I do not need you to agree with me. In fact, I hope that you don't agree with me on a lot of things that I talk about. What I do hope is that you will listen and understand at a minimum a different perspective, which would be mine, and at a maximum, learn something maybe outside your own wheelhouse and what's innate for you. All right. I am on a massive journey right now, and this is part of what I'm kind of like, fuck it all in January. And maybe that'll last all year. I'm kind of hoping it does. I have an insatiable propensity towards hope and optimism. Sometimes it annoys me. Most of the time it annoys the people that are closest to me, because you can't get me down type of thing. Okay. Although right now I'm not down per se, but like I'm not up. I'm not my most optimistic right now because I'm just like, fuck it all. But what's happening is there's some things coming to the surface from my shadow, is what I call it. So the dark parts of me that want to remain unseen, but also are driving a lot of the operating systems in my psyche and emotions and all of that. So when these emotions, these dark emotions come up, I pay attention to them. I attune and really try to have tea with those parts of myself and learn from them. And so what's coming up for me in January is some very deep rooted beliefs. And I think it's like systems of our culture. And this has to do with, women in our culture not having a voice and being oppressed, to, how the patriarchy is not serving any of us. But also, what do we do? Because we are still in that culture. We're making strides towards moving towards equality. I hope sometimes we go back, and forth with it. But overall, I feel like our cultural consciousness is starting to wake up to these issues a little bit more. However, we're not all feeling it personally in the equality realm. So that I'm feeling pretty heavy because, again, remember I said I'm a highly sensitive soul. I feel it all. I'm sometimes feeling it from 100 years ago. So that's what we're dealing with. And I'm just going to kind of run with it. I love when I'm not super optimistic, because you get like the real. I get the real. I get the more vulnerable, just gritty part of my personality. So that's that's what we're leading with. And I hope you'll join me on this super fun quest. Also, with the ADHD part of my brain, these are going to be short podcasts because Also, I don't want to overwhelm anybody. I tend to go very deep in the rabbit hole vortex of my brain, in the psyche and the psychological analysis. So I will try not to take you too deep into these realms. However, I do want to introduce certain ideas and concepts that I see going on, and then hopefully get you thinking. And I would love to get your feedback. So again, I'm going to show up and run my fucking mouth, and your job is to, that's fucking right. You're going to engage, you're going to listen with an open mind and honesty, and you're going to share this. You're going to share the podcast. Let's spread the wealth of health. And also, it'll be a great way to get your friends and loved ones in conversation with you about the weird ass shit that we're going to talk about. So let's do this.